Hello everyone, this is Solidworks tutorial, and in this tutorial I will be covering everything from basics, from the scratch, from the start. So if you are completely new to Solidworks, just do not worry. Okay, before starting the Solidworks, a little knowledge about Solidworks. Solidworks is a 3D modeling software. You can create 3D models of your machine parts, some specific item you want to build. It helps a lot in realizing your machine as at a whole. It helps in better solving and troubleshooting the problems. It helps in explaining your ideas to others, and it helps a lot in production. And you can also do some force and stress analysis on your parts. So there are a lot of useful things in SolidWorks. So let's start. When you start, this kind of window will be open. So this dialog box is actually not very useful for now because it is just showing the recent works you have done. So just remove it for now. And so this is our window that you will be seeing. So in order to start your first drawing, you need to go on this blank page, or you can go to file and click new, again the same blank page icon. Okay, when you click on it, it will ask what you want to build, a part, assembly, or drawing. So assembly and drawings are for later. We'll start with our part. Okay, so select part and click okay. Okay, now one more thing to know. In SolidWorks, when we create a 3D model or 3D shape, it is very crucial to first draw the 2D sketch. Every time we start making a 3D part in SolidWorks, we start with 2D sketch, and we use that 2D sketch or 2D drawing to create the our three-dimensional product or shape. Okay, so 2D is actually very crucial in SolidWorks, two-dimensional sketching or drawing. So in order to start the sketch, our first sketch, we first need to go in the sketch section, which we are already, and now we need to specify a plane on which we want to create our first 2D drawing. So SolidWorks by default gives us three planes: front, top, and right. So let's select a front plane. Okay, whenever you select anything in SolidWorks, it will turn blue. So first plane is selected, and in sketch section we will click on sketch command. Okay, so now the sketch has started. As you can see, there's an exit button to exit the sketch, so which means that the sketch is ongoing. So we will go one by one to all the tools for sketching that we will be using. So the first and the most basic one is the line, of course. So it is pretty simple. You just need to specify the starting point and end point, right? And that will create a line. And you can keep on making the line as long as you want. And as soon as you closes the figure, the line command will be deselected. Okay, I mean the line will end, the command will not be deselected. And if you just want to end the line without closing your figure, you can do two things. You can either press escape button or you on your keyboard, or you can just click again the line command, right? Line is completed. Let's move on to the second command now. Second is circle. Use this command to make complete circles, not partial circles. So there are two methods of making circle. The first method, you first specify the center of the circle, and the next click will specify its radius, and the circle is complete. In the second method, you just select the second method, and here you need to specify 3 points on the perimeter or circumference of the circle. You do not specify the center. So first point and second point, and there we go, third point. The circle is complete. Select tick button to end the command. Okay, there we go. And okay, next is a rectangle. There are actually 5 ways of making rectangle. Let's start with the first and simplest one. In this one, you just need to specify two opposite vertices. There we go, first and second. This rectangle is complete. Second method, the center of the rectangle and any one vertex you like. There we go. Third method, three vertices, one, two, three. There we go. Right? And fourth method, you need to specify the center, midpoint of any one side, and a vertex. There we go. It is completed. Now let's remove everything. There's a lot of thing here. Just clear it up. Control A and delete. Yeah, Control A and delete works everywhere. It's a good handy way of deleting things. Okay, so we were on rectangle. There is the fifth one which actually creates parallelograms. So first vertex, second vertex, and third vertex. There we go. Third vertex, and a parallelogram is created. I will also teach how to dimension things, and but first let us go to through all the commands. So next is arc. Okay, so in this we'll creating partial circles or arcs. First method, simplest one, we just need to specify the center. First click will start the arc and the second click will end the arc. You can also do this way. Yeah, there are a lot of ways of doing this, no problem. There we go. End the arc. That's it. Let's go to second method. In second method, you actually need a starting point. You cannot just click in air, right? You need to specify one. You need to use one existing point. Anyway, you can use. Let's use this one. There you go. First point and second point wherever you want. Let's make it like this. There we go. Right? And like the line command, it will just keep on going as much as you want. But just leave it for now. And the third method is pretty simple. You just need to specify the starting of arc, end of arc, and you can define its radius kind. Okay, there we go. Size. Next up is ellipse. Ellipse is very simple. Just specify the center of this ellipse, length of the ellipse, right, and width of the ellipse. Easy, right? Yeah, pretty easy. There we go. Slot. This is slot. So starting point of slot, and point of slot, and width of slot. There we go. Slot is completed. And next is polygon. So polygon, you first need to specify how much sides you want. So by default it is 6. Let us make it 5. We want a pentagon, say. Okay, and let's create a pentagon. You first need to specify the center, and as you can see, this partial preview will give you an idea what you are actually making. So you can make however you want. There we go. Pentagon is created. If you like, you can create 3 sides and a triangle will be created, right? There we go. Triangle. So you can do, you cannot go 2, of course. Let's make an octagon here. There we go. Octagon. Easy, right? Easy peasy. No problem. Okay, and there is a spline. Spline is basically a curve. Okay, you can define the curve in many ways. It starts like a line, but it is not a line, trust me. There you go. Just okay, so you can just make curves, and when you feel like you are done, just click again on this spline and the spline command will be deselected, and you can still change the curvature by using these lines, these arrows. Okay, so spline is a pretty useful thing in creating some difficult shapes, right? Okay, so last one is actually a fillet command, or you can make it chamfer too. So fillet is just the curvature of the corners. So let's use fillet on some corner. Do we have a corner? Yes, we do have a corner here. There we go. Let's increase the size. Let's increase from 20. Okay, there we go. So okay, in order to zoom in or zoom out, you use the scroll wheel of mouse. Here down will zoom in, or up scroll will zoom out. Okay, so let's you need to specify the corner, and there is a fillet with radius 20 mm as we defined, right? There we go. One more fillet. Okay, this corner. Okay, this cannot be performed here because it has some constrictions. Okay, no problem. Let's make somewhere else, like here. All right, we can make fillets. Okay, let's make chamfer. So chamfer is fillet creates curved surface. Chamfer creates like a cut surface. It's with a straight line instead of an arc. So in chamfer you need to specify a lot of things. There are actually, okay, let's first clean this mess. Control A and delete. There we go, delete. Let's first create a simple corner rectangle. There we go. And let's specify the chamfer. Chamfer. Now there are two ways of making chamfer. First is distance. So let me give you some examples. Okay, why it's not chamfering? So let's see. Okay, so let's make the chamfer. There we go. Select a corner, click, and there we go. So this is actually doing distance type chamfer 10 mm, which means it is cutting a 10 mm distance on both sides. Sorry. And you can also use angle distance, in which you need to specify an angle, and let's use 30 degree here, right? So there we go. See, one side it had an angle of 30 degree and 10 centimeter is snapped from that side. So there are two methods: distance or distance angle. We will learn more about it as we go further. So this was a pretty easy one. Let's remove it. There we go. So we have actually completed all the basic tools. These are only the basic tools, and these are actually pretty easy. Now one more thing we need to know, which is actually very important, is the smart dimension, which is actually the dimensioning tool. So select this smart dimension tool and click on any line. Let's just select this one, this line. So once you need to click only once, and as you move further it will show the distance, and you can click anywhere. Okay, now here you can change the distance whatever you like. Let's make it 80. There we go, 80. Okay. And select this one. Let's make it 82. Right, here we go, 80 again. And in the similar way you can select a lot of things. Now there's one more thing. uh, Smart dimension also give dimensions of circles too. So there we go, smart dimension. You just need to click on circle. It will tell there's a diameter. Okay, so actually this smart dimension tool tells everything you need to know about dimensioning, and that is why it is called smart dimension. It is a smart, yeah, that's right, everything is smart nowadays. So let's make it 50. Yeah, that's fine, right? Let's create an angle. Let's create an angle. There we go. There we go. Okay, now let's dimension the angle. We need to create say 42 degree angle, right? So this is actually 37. Let's make it 42. There we go, 42, right? So this is actually pretty easy. Let me show you again how we did it. First, just click on the dimension, and if you want to delete it, delete it. Now you can do it again. How to dimension angles? Click on the two sides that are actually making the angles. First click on this side, and then second click on this side. There we go, the angle is ready. There we go, select OK. There we go, or you can also press enter instead of selecting OK. So there we go, dimensioning is completed. Select OK. Nice. So this is actually pretty much the basic things. Now let us create a real drawing, right? Let us start with the simplest thing that we can do, and that is called a square or a cube. There we go, this is a square looking thing, and select a smart dimension, dimension it 40. There we go, there is 40. and make this one 42, right? Since it is a rectangle, the other sides will be 40 on its own. So now as you can see, this figure is actually looking black. See, the lines are black, but the previous images were not black. Why? This one is not black, this one is black. Why? The black sign indicates that this particular line, this particular point, or this particular square is actually fully defined. Fully defined means you cannot move it. I can move this one, I can increase the size, right? Because nothing in this rectangle is defined. We haven't defined its position, its size. We haven't defined anything. But in case of this square, we have defined two of its sides, right? So its shape is fixed and its position is fixed because we have used this point here. This arrow that you can see here is actually a fixed point in this whole graphical area on which we are creating our drawing. This is actually called the origin of this full page, right? And the coordinates here are 0 comma 0. Don't need to worry about that 0 comma 0. We don't need that. Just know that this is a fixed point in this space, and if you place something, anything on here, that will become fixed, or you can say defined. See, now this it's hard to see because this square rectangle is already here. But the thing is, now I cannot move this side because its once point is fixed on this defined point already. So anything which is fully defined will look black, and something if it's not fully defined, it will look blue. It is better to have fully defined things, otherwise it will create a lot of problems when you create a complex design. So be sure that your sketch is always black, okay, and not blue. So let's remove this one. Okay, how to select things. Now this is also a good thing. Of course, if you press the left click and bring it to the right side, it will create a blue selecting area, and that blue selecting area will select only those items which are completely inside it. For example, in my selection, only this line was completely inside this blue selection area, whereas these lines were partially inside. So only those things which are completely inside that blue selected area will be selected, right? How? When we are pressing the left key and pulling it to the right side. But if we press the left area and pull it in the left side, it will actually select everything, even partially or fully, in touching this green area, right? So as you can see, all these three lines are selected. Let's delete it. Delete. There we go. This one is left. Select it and delete it. There we go. So we are left with this pretty looking square here. So now let's exit the sketch. There we go. And in my next video, I will be covering the 3D sections, how to create 3D features with the sketch we just have created. Okay, thank you for watching.